Is my voice okay, or it's too loud, or it's okay?
It's okay, Prabhu, but background some noise is coming, Prabhu.
Oh, that's Baladeva and Mataji kitchen. Oh, is it or some?
No, maybe are you using headset, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yeah, headset. If you move a little bit, then it makes a bit of noise.
Um, yeah, good.
Okay. Okay. I won't move much. Let's share this screen. So chapter 22 is done. So this is a chapter where Prabhupada goes to San Francisco. Now, what I'm noticing is even though the slides have the important details, we are missing some sort of connectivity. So I thought maybe I should do it like a chapter. So yeah, okay. This is all right. Say 22nd. So this is a chapter. Prabhupada actually goes to San Francisco, and in 71 years of Prabhupada, this is his first flight journey. And to accompany Prabhupada, a 19-year-old boy uh, called Ranchor, he came with him. He's one of the new disciples that are joined in the New York, and he's got a lot of respect for Prabhupada. And he didn't want to let Prabhupada go alone, so he came with him. So Ranchor asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, how is the first flight journey? And then Prabhupada explained that, yeah, in the flight, I can see all the buildings like matchboxes. So for us, they are looking like matchboxes. And I'm wondering, in the eyes of Krishna, how they will be looking like. you know. So then they got down into the airport, and in the airport, Mukunda and his wife Janaki, they are waiting. And then there is Ravindra Swarup and Raya Rama. Mm. They come from New York to San Francisco or some other job. So they are waiting with flowers and garlands, flower garlands. And before that, before 3 months, since last 3 months, Mukunda and Janaki couple, they have done bit of preaching about ISKCON in San Francisco. And interestingly, a lot of people actually became inspired by their teaching, and they have unofficially joined ISKCON. Mm. And in the airport, there's almost 30 young boys and girls. They came in the car like a rally, and they're all waiting to see Swamiji. And they're all having flowers and garlands, and they're all waiting. So, and they're all very much interested, curious to see Swamiji. Uh, they wanted to see how Swamiji looks and all that. So as soon as Swamiji got down from the flight, actually they wanted to give a surprise to Swamiji, Prabhupada. They told Prabhupada that there is no one in San Francisco, so you just come there and one of us will come and meet you. But so this was like a surprise. And then Chanakya and Mukunda told all these new devotees that as soon as Prabhupada comes out, everyone should start chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So, so Prabhupada got down from the flight, and from the distance, he could actually hear this Hare Krishna mantra. And he was surprised, who's singing this mantra? And then he came out little bit, and then he saw about 30 boys, young um, men and women singing Hare Krishna mantra. And Prabhupada was quite happy. And then Mukunda, he introduced all these people to Prabhupada. And then Most of them, they're all hippies, and they're all looking at Swamiji. Hmm. And then they could figure out that Swamiji is exactly looking like as described by Mukunda. That smile, that calmness, and then that merciful eyes, and then the lips always chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So Prabhupada was looking, and then suddenly his glance stopped at one place. He saw Allen Gilbert. Allen Gilbert is a famous poet, songwriter that he met in New York. And he didn't expect Allen Gilbert to actually come to the airport. So Allen Gilbert came and he paid his obeisances, and then he gave a big flower vase and they said, Swamiji, welcome to San Francisco. So Prabhupada was happy, and then he said, I'm very happy to see all of you. And meanwhile, what is happening? There was a bit of delay in the luggage. Uh, so Swamiji was waiting near the luggage belt, and suddenly Prabhupada started chanting Hare Krishna mantra and also started dancing. And for a moment, all these new boys and girls, they were surprised. It's like a flash dance, these days they do in the shopping centers. Like that, they were all surprised, but then they also started
Flash
chanting
mob,
and
Prabhuji, flash mob.
Flash mob.
flash mob, flash mob. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, did you participate in any of those, Mayank?
Yeah, Prabhuji, during the college time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See. So everyone is surprised in the airport, including the security. They're all shocked, but then they're all smiling and they're looking with and then they could see Swamiji in this orange clothes, and then all these young boys and girls dancing around him. It looked like an amazing scene. So they all took Prabhupada to the car, and the car started going away from the airport. And then suddenly Prabhupada asked, where is Harvey? So Harvey is the one who gave Prabhupada a place to live in the downtown Bowery. He gave him this place called Loft. And then Mukunda said, the one who's driving the car is Harvey. And Prabhupada was surprised. He said, oh, Harvey, oh, how are you? He said. And Harvey said, yeah, I'm good, Swamiji. Welcome to San Francisco, he said. And then Harvey started apologizing. He said, I'm very sorry, Swamiji, that the roommate David, he gave you some trouble, and because of that, you have to vacate from that Mowbray and move to this 26 Avenue, like that he was telling. And Prabhupada said, no, don't worry, that's not his fault. It's because of the drugs he has taken. So I don't have any anger on him. So don't worry about this. And I don't want any more discussion on this, he said. So like that it was. And then they took him to this temple. And there's a temple name, there's a nice name plate called Sri Sri Radha Krishna Temple. And then while all the cars are stopping in front of the temple and this orange robe, Swamiji getting down, everyone, all the people, they are looking at, amazing, thinking, what is this happening? Like that, they are all looking at. So, and then there was some news reporters in the San Francisco airport, and so they are all telecasted in the newspapers and in the TVs, and in the newspaper the photos have come. They came with different ratings like Master of the Faith, and then Swamiji's entrance into the hippie land. Then someone wrote an article called A Swami in San Francisco. Someone wrote an article called uh, Swami from India to America, like that. So, and then one newspaper has written saying that ISKCON with conservative no, which is conservative, like that, something they wrote. Because in the airport, Prabhupada talked briefly about this womanizing and using the drugs and all these things. So people who came to listen, they were not happy about this one. And then Prabhupada replied that I don't think this is the right thing, because to join in ISKCON, there is no gender differentiation, male or female, or not even caste or status, nothing. The only thing I was telling is to follow the regulative principles, not looking at other women and things like that, he said. Then Prabhupada entered into his room and then he was contemplating. So he was thinking when he was in India, when he was starting, there is no one to say goodbye to him. Similarly, when he came to America in Butler, there is no one. And then from Butler to New York, when Prabhupada went, a couple of people have welcomed him. And then in San Francisco, this amazing welcome. So, and then Prabhupada thought, I think this is all, of course, due to Lord Krishna, mercy of Lord Krishna. And they don't belong to me, like that, he said. And then Prabhupada had a little bit of nap in the evening, at night. And then he got up at 1 o'clock. So, and then he started, so the apartment was a bit cold. So he just covered himself with a shawl, and then he was sitting in front of a table. Actually, it's not a table; it's the trunk box. So, and then Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna mantra for 1 hour, the night, 1 o'clock, and then it was around 2 o'clock, and then he started writing. So, and then Prabhupada, this is the place where Prabhupada started writing this book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So then Prabhupada also attended a musical program in San Francisco. There's a place called Avalon Ballroom Group Musical Programs. So they have actually arranged a band there, and then Prabhupada actually went. So there was a lot of advertisement done for this program, and then finally the program happened. So on the stage, first time in America. So by the time it was evening, the whole parking lot was filled with all the cars. Each ticket was about two and a half, $2.50. Still, there's a lot of queue, and Chanaki and Mukunda, they were amazed by this response from the crowd. And then finally, around 8 o'clock, the light show started. And there's all these flashing lights, laser lights on the stage, like that. And then slowly around 9 o'clock, Swamiji started from the temple, accompanied by Kirtanananda and Ranchor. So, and then Swamiji, when he was climbing the hall, the light was focusing on him. So, and then Allen Ginsberg introduced Swamiji. He said that I heard this Hare Krishna mantra first time in India, and then I was quite mesmerized with that. And then also I tried to sing those songs. And then that's how he introduced Prabhupada. And then while Allen Ginsberg was speaking, then on the backstage, uh, all the pastimes of Lord Krishna are being coming up, like Krishna killing the Putana, lifting the Govardhan mountain, and Krishna playing the flute in Vrindavan, all these things, and stealing the clothes of gopis, and Yashoda Mataji tying Krishna to a grinding stone. So when all this in the backstage they are coming up, all the audience are amazed and thrills. And slowly they started chanting. And then everyone went crazy. So everyone was chanting like anything. And Prabhupada, he's already 70 plus. And then Prabhupada, the whole body became filled with, wet with sweat on his clothes and everything. And Kirtanananda came to Prabhupada and said, "Can you please stop? I think you'll be tired." So, and Prabhupada finally stopped. And then in the mic, Kirtananda said, Om Vishnupada Paramamsa Parivrajaka Stotra Shata Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Ki Jai. He said, and people don't know what that is. They just also say Jai, like that. So, like this, first time on an American stage, ISKCON uh, dance has become successful. And finally, Prabhupada came out. So, and then they went to a beach. It's a Pacific Ocean. In America, there's Pacific Ocean. And the ocean, there's a lot of big, huge waves are coming. And then Prabhupada saw at the ocean and he said that we need to learn a lot from the ocean. And then he explained within this same ocean, there is halahal, the poison, and within the same ocean, there is also nectar. So it all depends on why we are changing the ocean. So it all depends upon our character and our destination, our goal, and then our devotion. So there is one devotee called Hygriva. Hygriva said, Swamiji, sorry, I did not understand what you're saying. And then Swamiji explained about his churning of the milk ocean. So then Prabhupada asked, so can you tell me how many people came for the program yesterday? And Hygriva said, about 4,000, Swamiji. And he told, the whole night they have been dancing like that. Prabhupada was there for about 1-2 hours and he came back. But the whole night they are dancing like that. And then Kirtanananda said, and then after paying all the bills and expenses, we have about $1,500, he said. So, so like that, Prabhupada's first program in San Francisco was quite successful. Anything else we can see from this one? This chapter. Yeah, okay. So this is an interesting chapter, the prize affair. So, meanwhile, what is happening is in New York, when Prabhupada left New York, all these people, uh, all the new devotees in New York, they're quite new. They don't know how to do kirtan or tell classes, but still slowly they got used to doing all this routine. Initially, they were a little bit shy to sing kirtans and all that, so they used to play Prabhupada's tapes. But slowly, they also started singing. And then some other devotees like Raya Rama, Brahmananda, Satswarup, they all started speaking about Vaishnavism slowly. And then they also started giving answers. So some other doubts people ask. So, meanwhile, Prabhupada wrote a letter from San Francisco explaining how it was all a success. Um, and then, meanwhile, what happened while Prabhupada was in New York, they wanted to buy a building for the temple, and in that they have actually consulted one real estate agent called Mr. Price. So this guy, Mr. Price, um, he showed them a couple of places, and he did not like. uh, and then Prabhupada went to San Francisco. But meanwhile, this Price, he would always come and meet some other devotees, especially this devotee called Brahmananda. So these two devotees called Brahmananda and Gargamuni, they are like brothers. And Brahmananda used to be huge, tall, like 6'4" or something like that. Brahmananda Prabhu recently passed away, I think 3 years or 4 years ago in Vrindavan. But he used to be like a bodyguard to Prabhupada. Wherever Prabhupada would go, he would just go behind him. And then, and if someone is asking too many adamant questions or something, then this Brahmananda would go behind Prabhupada and would just stand like that. And looking at Brahmananda, people, they'll stop asking questions, like that. Uh, So, so this price, he started meeting Brahmananda. At that time, Brahmananda is a very new devotee, doesn't know much about anything. So this price has actually made up a big story. He said, I got a nice building for you, and that building is actually worth about $100,000. But he said, a wealthy person is actually ready to sponsor you. You'll get loan from this wealthy person. Uh, you just need to pay $1,000 for the lawyer fees. Hmm. So Brahmananda asked Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, what do we do? And Prabhupada explained. So at that time, this New York temple, they had about $6,000 in their savings account on ISKCON name, New York, ISKCON New York. So Prabhupada explained, you have to be very careful. This is the ISKCON's society money, and you have to be very, when you are spending this money, you should be very careful. Uh, why do we need to give $1,000 to the lawyer? No, I have a lot of questions. How come they are able to give us this building with such less money? Like that, he said. Mhm. So, but anyway, this price, he was actually talking nicely to Brahmananda, and then somehow convinced him that he is going to actually get him this building. So it took almost 2 months. Every day he used to come and meet him, tell him all the stories. And then they realized that it's not going to work out. So Brahmananda forced Mr. Price to give him back that $1,000 he gave him for the lawyer fees. And then Price has agreed to return $750. And then he said another $250 they have been spent because of traveling because of this work and all that. So, but what happened? Meanwhile, this Price met Brahmananda again, and he said that there is one wealthy person who is ready to actually donate a lot of money for you, and this person is one of the wealthiest person in America. Hmm. So, and then Mr. Price explained, I told everything about you people is gone to him, and then he was quite happy to sponsor $20,000 for you, but he wanted you to uh, meet him. So saying that, he took Brahmananda with him. So they all went to this person's building. So it's a wonderful building. So nice carpet, and so office setup, everything is fine. Then and that person is acting like a busy person. In 10 minutes, he had like about 3 4 calls, And on the calls, he's talking big transactions. Like, for example, he had a call from West Indies. His girlfriend went to West Indies and she called and told him that, can you please urgently send me $50,000 for my mother? All these things he was saying. And finally, that wealthy person spoke to Brahmananda and he said, oh, I came to know about your ISKCON. You are doing a wonderful job. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you money. By next month, 20th, you are going to get that building, like that he said. But then he put a condition. He said, but before I give that money to you, just to make sure that you are serious and committed, I want you to pay $5,000. And then with your $5,000, I will add my 20,000 and then I'll send the whole deposit, 25,000, to the owner of this building. Hmm. Like that he said. And Brahmananda thought, oh yeah, okay. Uh, it sounds nice. That's what he thought. And Mr. Price, he actually took out all the paperwork and he said, showed all the paperwork. So, and then he signed on it. And then they handed over a $5,000 check. Brahmananda handed over $5,000 check. And then the wealthy person again confirmed, by next month you are going to get $20,000. And then while they are just about to leave, he said, but by end of next month you should be ready to pay another $20,000. Then the building is going to be yours. And Ramananda got shocked. I remember I thought the building contract is going to be finished with only $5,000, and the rest, Mr. Price and the other person, the wealthy person, his name is Hall. I thought these two people are going to look after. Hmm. So he was shocked, and then he didn't know what to do. And then finally he realized that Mr. Hall is not a businessman or nothing at all, and all these phone calls from West Indies and all that, that's all a drama. And then they've been cheated. And then they called Prabhupada and told Prabhupada, this is what happened. So this is all. Yeah. And Prabhupada asked, have you paid the money? And he said, yeah. Hmm. So this is what it is. 100,000 prize, then Mr. Price, Brahmanda, he found a wealthy financier. So all this. And then Prabhupada actually was very angry. Without even contacting the owner directly. How did you give $5,000 like that? Anyway, they all understood that they have been cheated. Then Prabhupada said, okay, take that paperwork and go and meet our lawyer, Goldsmith. So Goldsmith is a lawyer who helped ISKCON to be, to be registered and incorporated like that organization. So, um, so they took the papers and showed it to the lawyers, and then the lawyer also said there is nothing wrong with you have to pay 20,000. Otherwise, whatever money you gave, $5,000, you will actually forfeit. You lose it. And Papa was quite angry. I said, "What it is? Why did you do all this?" So um, anyway, so finally Prabhupada said, "That's okay. Don't worry. So this is like a lesson for you. So you have to be very careful in your future dealings," like that. He said. So, any questions or comments? So this is the chapter. I think it's finished. Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm doing? Instead of going through the PowerPoint, I'm actually going through the book and reading the whole chapter quickly so that you can understand the context. How is it? Oh, it's going a bit slow, but what do you think?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I think this looks good. Yeah,
Okay, okay, thank you. पूजा चल रहा है आपके घर में. Okay.
हाँ मम्मा करनी है.
Very nice. Nice, nice. Okay. So, this is the next chapter called New Jagannath Puri. Hmm. So, Prabhupada is still in San Francisco, and then he's doing this um, preaching, and then mm, okay, Prabhupada started taking weekend cooking classes. He taught Janaki, Govinda Dasi, Nandarani, others art of cooking for Krishna.
Prabhu, I'm so sorry to
Hmm.
cut you. What
Hmm.
happened then? Lawyer told we have to give 10,000. After that,
Oh, it will come. It will come in the next chapter. They will get their
oh,
money back.
okay,
They,
okay,
they will lose a little bit of money, but they will get the money back. That's in the
okay,
next
okay,
chapter. Next
okay. From
chapter.
there, now we are changing the context to the
From
like different
New,
scene. Okay,
yeah,
scene is.
from that was New York. This is,
Mm-hmm.
and that was New York. They are talking to Prabhupada. This is San Francisco, where Prabhupada is still there. Yeah,
Okay, sure, Prabhuji. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, okay. So this, yeah. So Prabhupada in San Francisco is teaching all these things to his disciples, how to cook, how to make chapati, how to make gulab jamuns, and then what else? He's also telling how to make. There's a sweet called Simply Wonderful. So Swamiji's whitish, sticky-looking preparation. So this, I think, is one of the Ekadashi sweet. So although Prabhupada had about 25 San Francisco disciples, hardly anyone or brahmacharis. Practically only solid one was Jayanand. So this Jayanand Prabhu is one of the famous devotee who helped Prabhupada a lot. Jayanand worked all day driving a cab, chanting Hare Krishna, even while driving. And he was known for his serious japa. So one day, Malati Mataji, she came running to Prabhupada and she showed a small toy to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, Swamiji, do you know what it is? So it's a small 3.5 inches toy like thing. And Prabhupada had a look at it and he was so happy. His eyes became big and he closed his eyes and he paid obeisances to that small doll. And he said, the whatever you brought, this is not a doll. This is actually the deity, Jagannath. Mm. This is the deity of the Jagannath. Mm. And Malati was surprised. She is not even able to pronounce that. What is it? Jagannath, like that he said. And then Prabhupada explained that yes, Jagannath is another avatar of Krishna in Dwaraka. So, and then he said, along with Jagannath, there will be Subhadra and also Balabhadra. Hmm. Balabhadra means Baldev. Hmm. So, so you go and find out. Hmm. He said. So to the same shop and see if there is Jagannath and Baladev and Subhadra there. So Malati went hmm, to the shop again, and then she bought it. Then Prabhupada asked, can any of our people work with wood? Is there any carpenter sort of person? And can they make us this Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra deities? And Malati said, my husband, Shyam Sundar, he's a carpenter. Uh, and then Prabhupada said, in very few days, uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, what do you call this? Gaura Purnima is going to come. So on that day, we have to actually make these deities, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, which are like 3 feet, at least 3 feet height. Can you do it like that? He said. And Sham Sundar Prabhu said, yeah, I can do them. And then in the balcony, he started doing them. And then Sham Sundar Prabhu actually worked for almost 1 month on these three deities, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. And they're almost finished. And then one day, by mistake, he was a little bit careless. What happened? One of these, what do you call them? The, uh, what do you call them? Like a nail that fell on his hand. And even he neglected that wound. And it became big and he had to be hospitalized for it. So, because of the reason, the deities have not been finished. And Prabhupada said, don't worry, we will actually um, install them as it is in the temple, he said. And then Prabhupada explained in the story of actual Jagannath, Baladeva, Subhadra in Puri. In 2000 years ago, same thing happened. There is a king called Indradimna, and then he wanted to actually make these deities. So one day, the Vishwakarma came and he said, in the form of an old person, and he said he is ready to carve these deities. But he put a condition that when he is doing the deities, nobody should enter the room and look at him. So, and then he went into a room and he started working. And the king was happy, so he did not disturb them. And for a few days, the work was going on, and Vishwakarma did not come out of the room. And then suddenly, one day, the sound stopped. When the sound stopped, the king got a little bit worried. He thought that person who came was looking like very old. Maybe he just died or something in the room carving the deities. And then thinking like that, he opened. And when he opened, the deities were not complete. And Vishwakarma said, "Oh, because you did not keep your promise and you disturbed me, I am actually leaving." Saying that he left. But the king took the deities as it is and then installed them in the temple. So the same deities, same in the Jagannath Puri temple. So similar pastime happened here. And then Prabhupada explained, Sham Sundar must have made some something wrong in his past life. And because of this, he has been hurt before the deities are finished. But not to worry, because of this punishment, he actually became uh, his sins are destroyed. And then let us consider all this to be a Leela of Krishna. That's what he said. So they have installed these deities nicely, and they have put these blue, red, yellow, and white lights on the deities, and then the lights are glowing. And Prabhupada taught them this mantra, Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patakami, Bhavatume. And then he showed them how to do Aarti. And then everyone was actually doing the Aarti. And there was a kirtan. And then Mataji's Yamuna and Janaki, they distributed prasadam. So samosa, halwa, puri, and bambino, what do you call it? Sweet. And then some vegetables and gulab jamuns. They all have been served. So that's what it is. Uh, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, so this was on they are installed on Gauda Purnima in San Francisco. So Srila Prabhupada was confident in his spiritual master's direction and in the scriptures. He had faith that Lord Jagannath was specially merciful to the fallen. He prayed that the Lord of universe would not be offended by his reception at New Jagannath Puri. Srila Prabhupada explained further, the Bhagavatam has recommended hearing, chanting, thinking and worshipping. This process, which we now introduce is the advent of Jagannath Swami, means that this temple is now completely fixed. So this is the worshipping process. And this is called Aarti. See, Prabhupada explained them how to do Aarti and everything he explained them. And then he also explained this Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami. And then people, all the devotees, they have actually started worshipping the deities nicely. They would make garlands and all these things. And then Prabhupada finally said, okay, I need to go. So I need to go back to New York. Srila Prabhupada, the father of two small bands of neophytes, tendency, left one group and headed east, where the other group waited in different mood, in a mood of joyful reception. So this is the chapter called Our Master Has Not Finished His Work. So this is Prabhupada going back to New York. So once he was going back in the car, uh, wait, 1 minute. So Prabhupada is going back to New York. Okay. Or before that, San Francisco, Prabhupada went to a couple of places. Prabhupada went to a complete druggist place in San Francisco. They and then he preached a little bit to them, and then came back. And then it's interesting. There's a club called Morning Star, and the specialty of the club is it's a nude club. This club is situated 60 miles to in a forest to San Francisco, and it's been established by some young people, boys and girls. So, what is the philosophy of these people is they just live on the farm. Mm. They grow all the vegetables, everything, and they just hold hands and they pray to sun god. Mm. They're like crazy people. They'll talk with the air. They take drugs, and the worst part is they don't wear any clothes. Mm. So so it's a horrible place. And the devotees, they didn't want Prabhupada to go there, but Prabhupada said, no problem. Anyone invites me, I'm going to there. Mm. So he said, for preaching, I'm even ready to go to crematorium, Shamshan Ghat. Mm. So he went there, and then he preached them, and then and they all got inspired. In fact, one of the member of that group, he actually became ISKCON devotee, and he came with Prabhupada. So anyway, so this now we are coming back to New York. So before going to New York, sorry, still in San Francisco, Prabhupada explained to uh, Prabhupada is saying farewell, goodbye to all these people, Guru Das, Jayanand, Aigriva, Haridas, all this, and they are all crying. And then Prabhupada explained them that I'll come back to San Francisco by the time of Jagannath Rath Yatra. So you please make all these arrangements, and then I'll be back soon. Like that, he said. And then he boarded the flight to New York. And then it took about 5.5 hours I, from New York. And then Prabhupada was still active. And then Prabhupada looked at this New York temple, 26th Avenue. So, and then he was quite impressed with all these new decorations, colors, and new carpet. So, and then Prabhupada did a kirtan. And then, actually, Prabhupada noticed in his absence, his disciples, they are not doing kirtan with the whole heart, like they don't have any energy like that. But after he came back, they all become enthusiastic. So, oh, okay. So, meanwhile, what happened, Mayank? Brahmananda approached one lawyer, hmm, and then he was able to extend Prabhupada's visa for some more days. And then also, one more important thing what happened is these cheaters, the real estate cheaters, Mr. Price and Mr. Taylor, they have actually returned the money they have taken. Hmm. But it took some time and effort. They need to actually go to lawyers, and so they had to spend about $1,000 for sending the put in the court case or sending the notices and all that. So finally, after payment and all that, 4,200 $7 they got back. So that means they lost some money, but still at least from 6,000 they got, because they paid about $1,000 court fees and all those things. So they still got 4,200 back. So Prabhupada said an interesting quote. Brahmananda was happy. He said that even though there is some loss, and Prabhupada also, even though there is some loss, at least we got our money back from the cheaters. And Prabhupada said that when you are fighting with a lion, Prabhupada said, when you are fighting with a lion, it's natural that you will get some, um, what do you call, scars on the body. So the material world is compared to a lion, and then so literally they had to fight to get their money back. So that is in back in New York.
So Prabhu, what happened in that scenario is they got the $5,000 back and they didn't got the place to start temple.
Yeah, they didn't. There's no place. They're just cheating. They're just telling all
Okay,
that. Uh,
okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. So, and then there's some questions devotees ask. Satswarup came to show Prabhupada's latest typed manuscripts, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Jadurani start continuing painting on the outer room of Prabhupada's apartments. Jadurani asked, how is Lord Krishna, Vishnu situated in the heart? Is he sitting, standing, or what? Prabhupada said he is standing. And to another question, how one person goes to Krishna while another does not? Prabhupada said it is about utilizing one's free will properly. And one by one, Prabhupada saw all his old New York followers, Gargamuni, the temple treasurer, Raya Rama, the editor of Back to Godhead magazine, and then Rupanuga, who had a good job but was having difficulty convincing his wife about Krishna consciousness. And even Mr. Chetney, the landlord, dropped by with the complaints about the boy's behavior. And then there were signs that Prabhupada should be cautious about his health when Prabhupada mentioned his preference for Ayurvedic medicine. So this, when he came back, then what happened is Prabhupada actually gets sick, because what happened is Prabhupada, when he came back to New York, he did a big kirtan. And then same day, they had in the town hall a big program. So Kirtananda came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, we have a program in the town hall in the evening, so you better stop. But Prabhupada did not stop. No, I just kept on doing Kirtan. And then what happened? Suddenly, Prabhupada started sweating a lot, as if, he's got some heart problems or something like that. So uh, that was Sunday morning, 12 o'clock. There's a big program they arranged, and they went to see Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was actually having heart chest pain. He's massaging his chest. And then he said, Prabhupada said, my left hand is not working properly. Uh, can you please massage? So, and then Brahmananda Kirtananda was quite shocked. Oh my God, what is happening? This. So, meanwhile, they sent some seniors to do the program in the town hall, and then important person like Kirtananda, all these people, they uh, they are taking care of Prabhupada, and then they did all that they can do. And then Prabhupada explained him, can you please put Krishna's photo in front of directly in front of me? And then he said, can you please yes prayer? What is the prayer? Can you please a prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev? What is the prayer? The prayer is, our master has not finished his work. So, like that, you please pray to Nrsimhadev. And then all the devotees, they were actually doing that. They are all praying, please, Nrsimhadev, protect our master. He has not finished his work. And then they all took turns massaging Prabhupada's feet, neck, uh, on the chest, on the back, like that. But every hour, Prabhupada's situation was becoming serious, and these young boys, they didn't know what to do. And it was a Sunday, and also a public holiday. It's a Memorial Day, so no doctor was available. Finally, Brahmananda was able to get one old doctor, and this old doctor, he checked Prabhupada, and he told that this old man, he is praying a lot, but he's not giving any exercise to his body. Every day morning, he should go for a walk. That's how we started. Mm. Uh, and then Kirtananda asked, but what about the sweating? He's getting a lot of sweating. And the doctor asked, okay, does he drink whiskey? Like that he asked. And they all got crazy. What a crazy person. And said, not whiskey. He doesn't even drink tea or coffee. Like that he said. So the doctor, the old man, he said, he tested again, and he said, oh, at the time being, there's nothing to worry. He just had some cold. Like that, he got up to go. Then they thought, okay, he's a useless doctor, let him go, like that. Then finally, they found one place in a hospital called Beth Israel, in a hospital. There they took Prabhupada in an ambulance. And the ambulance rule is only one person should stay with the patient. So, and then meanwhile, everyone came to know that Swamiji is sick. So, San Francisco, New York, the devotees, they're all coming. So, they're all praying and everyone is crying. And day by day, Swamiji's health was getting uh, bad. He's becoming bad. And he's not even able to speak properly. You know. And then doctors, they actually lost hope. And then Prabhupada understood what is happening to him. Prabhupada said, because of the heart attack, one part of my brain got paralysis, and that's why my left side is not working. So please massage the left side, and this is the only remedy for it. Prabhupada said to his disciple. So all the devotees, one by one, they were continuously massaging Prabhupada, and then they were praying, and they are Hare Krishna mantra, Narsimhadev. So by next day, Prabhupada health was little bit okay. His heart pain is still there, but his face became little bit clear. And then that night before, all the devotees in New York Temple and San Francisco, they have done night out. Whole night they have been actually chanting Hare Krishna mantra for Prabhupada. So meanwhile, the doctors, they are quite interested. What is happening? So there so many people coming to the hospital and seeing all these things. So there is an interesting pastime here. So they wanted to. Prabhupada said, "This hospital doctors, these are all useless people. I don't want to stay here. Take me out from here." Hmm. And um, then Prabhupada explained, what is that verse? If Krishna wants to kill, no one can save. Similarly, if Krishna wants to save, no one can be killed. And Prabhupada said that um, we'll just go away from this hospital. Hmm. So what they did was, the hospital people, they're not allowing to take Prabhupada. So Brahmananda put Prabhupada on a chair, and then without telling anything, he forcibly, uh, just like kidnapping, he ran away with Prabhupada outside the hospital. Because Prabhupada was tired, everyone was giving injection and all this, so that's too much, he said. So, and also the doctors were saying this person is not going to live for long, like that they were saying. Hmm. So they took Prabhupada forcibly from that hospital without the doctor's consent, and they took a new rented house in New Jersey, which is close to the beach. And then meanwhile, Prabhupada called his godbrother Narayan Maharaj and Krishna Pandit in India and told them to send some Ayurvedic medicines. And they said, "Oh, it's not possible to send them from the medicines from here because it will take long time. And also Ayurvedic medicines, if they're preserved, then they might get spoiled, like that." And then Prabhupada thought, okay, instead of staying here, all this trouble, better go back to India and get treated. And then he thought maybe we should open a center in something called American House in Vrindavan, and then we should teach them all these Vedas and all these things, like that he was saying. Anyway, in New Jersey, after 3 weeks, Prabhupada got completely fine. Hmm. And then he came back. Hmm. He came back and he went to San Francisco again. So that we'll do next week. Uh, okay, just let us see what is happening here. You please go through the slides because I won't follow the slides. I will follow the book. Okay. So yeah. So before going, so after taking some 3 weeks rest, Prabhupada got completely recovered, and then he went back to the hospital for a checkup, and the doctor was amazed, surprised that he has recovered so nicely, and he said he's okay to go to San Francisco. So Prabhupada booked his tickets to San Francisco, New Jagannath Puri, for this Jagannath Rath Yatra. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Next week we'll do this one, Swamiji's departure. Yeah. Okay. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments?